Dana Schwartz, and this is Rise or Die, the official companion podcast for Peacock's original series, Those About to Die. On this podcast, I go behind the scenes with the show's cast and creators to learn how they brought their brutal vision of Rome to life.
Gosh, people will freak out.
Rise or Die launches on July 18th. Watch or listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I study the secrets of the divine plagues and uncover the blasphemous truth that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Buntwine, wherever podcasts are available.
Welcome back to Angel on Top, a podcast where we watch and discuss every episode of Angel, one by one, spoiler-free, and in tandem with no one. Everything has changed. We're all alone. And the truth is out there or something. I'm your co-host, LaToya Ferguson, a.k.a. the she's dead, but you wouldn't know from watching this show now, Chase of the Buffering Verse, a.k.a. one half of the Gunn Squad, who's alive, but you also wouldn't know from watching this show now. A.k.a. the Gilbert to Morgan Sullivan, a.k.a. Daddy, even if no one can remember that, a.k.a. Captain Forehead, sir, a.k.a. even more annoying new nicknames to come.
And I'm your co-host, Morgan Lutich, a.k.a. the Winifred Burkle of the Buffering Verse, a.k.a. half of the Gunn Squad. Pow, pow. Who is he anymore? I don't know. A.k.a. the Sullivan to LaToya's Gilbert, a.k.a. remembering Daddy, a.k.a. William Bloody, a.k.a. even more annoying new nicknames to come.
And this week, we're watching Angel Season 5, Episode 13, Why We Fight. Why We Fight was written by Stephen S. DeKnight and Drew Goddard and directed by Terrence O'Hara. It aired on the WB on February 11, 2004, which means they basically did a D-Day episode for their V-Day episode.
Such a better summary than what I've got here. And this is the one where Angel's experiences on a stolen U-boat from World War II come back to haunt him in the form of the vampire he sired there, returning for his revenge.
All right. Another one. And when I say another one, I mean another Stephen S. DeKnight, Drew Goddard collaboration. Morgan, we have to unpack this. And I guess without spoiling, because this is the second of 3 this season, I will just say the third collaboration, with the first being Damage. The third is The Girl in Question, which I will say is the episode I was implying when I say it's one people think I like, but don't, other than The Cautionary Tale of Numero Cinco. I don't like that episode. So as far as I'm concerned, these two very heavy hitters are 0 for 3 this season. And it's interesting to look at their solo episodes and their other collaborations, because I would say they are much better episodes than the 3 they have together.
Yeah. It really does seem like, and I know we talked about this before, and like there is only a limited amount of value in like speculating about why these two were on episodes together, but to me it really does seem like these were two people always having to write something that was due yesterday. I gotta say, this was not my favorite, unfortunately, and it sucks because I love their work individually.
Well, considering the cast focus, or actually lack of cast focus in all 3 of these episodes, because in this episode, you would think that the entire ensemble is directing the next rest of the series the way that they are in this episode and not in this episode. Although I will say, it was smart writing continuity with Lorne having left, because he is the one that if his head's chopped off, it wouldn't have done anything.
Yeah. I gotta say, it felt like Jay, Amy, and Alexis were all hosting SNL this week.
Yeah, because to really look at it, so DeKnight wrote Hellbound by himself, and Goddard wrote Lineage, which are both better season 5 episodes, even with the season 5 problems. And DeKnight also wrote Destiny with David Fury, which is so much better. And for whatever reason, Goddard and DeKnight together, maybe their sensibilities as writers don't work, because remember, Goddard was showrunner on Daredevil, and he left, and then DeKnight came in. There was no overlap on them actually working together on the show.
There was none, but I do think like they're from what like I was able to see and what any of us can tell from, you know, being on the outside of the process, their sensibilities like gelled really nicely together. But like I said, you know, the second there was like someone getting their head smashed in a car door repeatedly, like a watermelon exploding, I knew that Steve DeKnight was in charge. So like they both have their own things. Like Goddard is very like I think a lot goofier than DeKnight, but obviously like really earnest, I think, too, and a really great writer. And DeKnight is kind of like a little bit more bombastic and like kind of genre driven, I would say. Like he's best when he's like leading into something really hard, and I love both of them. So yeah, it's just kind of bizarre that they are two great tastes that don't taste great together, it seems. Yeah, but also I just wonder, I think this is way too much for a 45-minute episode of television, and I think that they were kind of set up to fail here.
Especially for like an episodic piece, because that's what this is, but it's also trying to add a mythology we definitely did not need for Angel or Spike. I mean, Spike is very superfluous. We will talk about that. But for Angel, we really didn't need this coloring for him, I don't think. And there are things, there are aspects that we'll talk more about, which I think could have worked in a different context, a different episode context. Really, watching this, I'm like, the only way this episode could have worked in terms of setting is had it been a Western episode.
That's just because you're such a big fan of the Legacies Western episode.
It's just a real dad energy that you don't want on your Angel when it's not like father Angel. It's completely different. It's also, I was watching the episode promo for this one, and you know, it got the classic WB like Angel subtitle, so it was Angel 1943, and they were showing World War II footage for this promo for a WB series. Teenage girls like such as myself are watching this.
And you say it was canceled this very year?
It was canceled in just a few short days.
Yeah, unfortunately, that'll do it. I mean, you know, like hindsight's 2020, but geez.
To be fair, like it wasn't canceled because of the ratings or stuff like that. And also, like, the promo is absurd because, as we know, we talk a lot about how the promo department doesn't necessarily reflect what the show is trying to present. There's let me find the direct quote because it's going to make your head spin.
Oh, great.
Yes, the voiceover for this promo trailer calls Spike Hitler's greatest secret weapon, and it's part of the promotional stuff. Angel going, Spike, you're a Nazi? And I just wrote in my notes, you guys like this shit?
No.
And I mean, it's not the show's fault that the network presented it as such.
But yikes.
It is the show's fault that in its desire to remind people that Spike loves to steal a jacket, he had to steal the Nazi jacket.
Yeah, that, like, I gotta say, like, not only that bit, but pretty much all of the bits in this episode fell super flat for me. And I think that's hard. There's nothing worse than watching like comedy that bombs for you repeatedly. Like, you know, you're supposed to be laughing and you're not, and that's happening a lot this episode. But yeah.
Let's see. I was reading a review about this, and there were things I agreed with it about. It overall didn't like this episode. It liked the concept of this episode, but there were some things I obviously disagree with. One thing was that it was talking about how season 4 main failings was that it was basically a 22-part story, and that was a big factor in season 5's popularity. To again, I say, that was never a failing of season 4 for me. I thought it was a brilliant undertaking, even with my problems with season 4. And I say the same thing about Alias season 3, which had a bunch of network interference that led to issues in terms of cutting stories short and making conclusions that made little sense because they didn't want the show to get too dark. And they, again, like season 5 of Angel, they wanted season 4 of Alias to be episodic, lighter, all that stuff. We're currently... the lead-in for this season is the season of Smallville with the dark serialized season, which isn't even that serializes either the Angel or Alias season that leads to the more episodic, fun season 4. This was definitely a thing around this time, which is unfortunate just because these were influential shows. It's but the things that they're but the networks at the time were we don't like that. We like the normal TV. And that's why networks are severely behind nowadays.
Yeah, definitely something we're still seeing now.
Yeah, and I personally still find this season having to serve a bunch of masters I don't appreciate a problem. Again, the network interference to make this episodic, which means we have this episode, which again has some good concepts, but is not the episode that should have aired at the 100th, which I will get into that too. Again, the season I found is fan service to a fan base that doesn't even like the show. Again, I like Angel the character. I like this ensemble. And this is uncharitable, and I go into it a little further in my notes. But Spike feels so much. He serves the purpose of a character like Cousin Oliver on the Brady Bunch. I'm not saying that Spike is a Cousin Oliver. He's a much better character, a much more well-rounded character, at least outside of the season of television. But it's when a show would cast a cool young kid like Leonardo DiCaprio in Growing Pains. He's he's the shiny new toy they dangle to bring in viewers, but the show is still canceled, essentially. So it didn't work, and you just you have a whole episode where our ensemble is bound and gagged, and then you end it with, again, Spike kind of shoehorned in for a beautiful shot to end the episode, but it's just we keep having these heart-to-heart moments between Spike and Angel. I'm but what about the ensemble?
Yeah, what about the people I've been watching for years on this show that suddenly the people behind the scenes just don't seem compelled by, and therefore all of these characters have gotten a huge reboot. Gunn and the Law, Fred and her mini skirts, Wes returning to season 2 Wes. It just kind of bums me out as a fan, which I know we've said a lot. So are there any other macro thoughts before we scoot?
I know Scooby brought it up in the Discord. I apologize I didn't do my research and look up who it was. But they brought up the fact that this episode takes place literally a week after You're Welcome. There's not a little break in between. It's the next episode. There is absolutely zero fallout or aftermath of the fact that Cordelia is dead. They mentioned the Eve crap and Lindsay. Nothing about Cordelia. And there's some, without spoiling, there's some eventual aftermath in the season they're not acknowledging for a reason, but still, nothing. Not even a breadcrumb. Not even any knowledge of how the rest of Angel Investigations reacted to this. And this is, to compare it to Smallville again, this is in season 4 of Smallville, where Clark's girlfriend Alicia dies. I told you about this death. She was the one who was hanged, the really grotesque death on the show. And the next episode, again, no break, is all about, after the episode where she dies and he's absolutely heartbroken and depressed about it, the next episode the following week is all about his college football aspirations. It's all, and they're being dashed, and now he can't play football again because, he has special abilities. And it ends with Simple Plans Untitled, because that's the era. 2 episodes after they played Welcome to My Life, right before he and Alicia are about to have premarital sex.
Oh, well, see, that's why she died.
That is right. It's because she and Clark were way too hot for that show.
Fair enough.
So someone had to die, and he's Superman, so.
Yeah, he is kind of the main guy. It's just, you're right, the network interference, I do think it's a it's a weird time for media. And like when you see a show go through this many like shifts and kind of like people seeming to feel that it needed to be retooled, you can come out with something that doesn't look quite right.
I just think in terms of retooling, like I get it if you didn't like the way season 4's like story was told, like structurally, then to me it would make sense to just go back to the way it was told, like season 3, or if you wanted like still want more episodic, like season 2, like to completely like fuck around with it is wild to me.
I agree. And I just I agree, and I think this episode, like, it's introducing a kind of episode that could exist on the new Angel, which would be, like, the flashback episode. Not that they haven't done that before on the show, but I think, like, this kind of, like, Wolfram and Hart era of the show, like a zippy old serial with Angel and even Spike at the center of it. Like, I think it would be cool for them to genre hop and do stuff like that. But this just like, one, I think the submarine movie is, at least it's not a genre that I'm super familiar with. And or am super compelled by, and two, I again just think this is like so overstuffed. The idea of like introducing this whole secret government organization that existed, why not just have Wolfram and Hart be doing this, saying we're a local group with interest, and because
we at least we know they're successful, unlike the Initiative.
We know.
Let the dream die, Joss. This is our second Initiative mention of the season. Let it die. Why would you keep bringing up something that's considered a flop?
He is quite determined for the government conspiracy to work, and he honestly was more on the money with the Steve Rogers talk. So,
oh, brother, they want to do this, this zippy 1940s genre thing. They didn't think about at all having the dialogue match the era. They didn't try at all.
There are attempts. Like at one point, someone calls someone an 8-ball.
But there's let me find the list of anachronisms in terms of the dialogue.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
There are anachronistic phrases like "back in the day," "hold it together," "don't lose your cool." A joke that assumes everyone is familiar with a melon baller.
Yes, the melon balling one. I was like, does the melon baller exist yet? I mean, not that I think it's a particularly modern invention.
I believe it exists, but like not everyone would know about it. Maybe rich people.
Yeah.
Also, what's very funny about this episode is this is Alexis Denisov's 100th appearance as Wesley.
Congrats, man.
You gave him a lot to work with.
Woof. Well, he looked good standing on that chair.
Okay, let me see. Just making sure there's something else I need to. I have to issue a formal apology. We did not play the Bye for Boreanaz jingle during the 100th when it came to Lindsay and honestly Cordelia and us, because we were truly too distracted by Christian Kane's glistening upper body to think straight, even when we played a bunch of jingles in the process. So please, Kristin, hit the theme.
He's got a broody stare and hot spiky hair. If you're straight or gay, your tingly feelings don't care. You're just being honest about this sexy demonic in your Bye for Boreanaz. Bye for Boreanaz. Bye for Boreanaz.
Also, the Hulu image for this episode is literally a gagged Fred, because we cannot have a moment's peace.
Have a moment of peace. We open in the Atlantic Ocean, 1943. We're on board a submarine and everything is all fucked. Carnage is ripping through the thing and the camera's just ahead of the action. We see the captain get all, messed up by something we can't see. And someone, our kind of like submarine protagonist, Sam Lawson, tries to save him and fails.
And we know it, and we, the audience, know it's vampires because we know those sounds and movements anywhere, honestly.
You know, kind of, you're familiar with it by now. Then we cut to Angel's big conference table in his office, and they're talking about Eve's gone.
She's vanished.
None of them are saying, like, cool, good.
Like, the senior partners don't take betrayal lightly. Okay.
Fair enough.
Lauren assumes they sucked her up, too, which, great.
Yeah.
And then Wes says Eve left swearing vengeance. To which I'm like, wait, really? To which I had to, like, look back at the transcript. Okay, so the transcript even includes that she's pouting on her way out, which... Okay. So Eve says, and here I'm thinking revenge. Angel says, and what do you imagine the senior partners are thinking? Then the elevator's doors close on Eve, clearly, like, and like she clearly knows she's fucked. So, like, was that really a threat of vengeance? It more seems like a baby who was pouting.
Mm-hmm. Well, Wes is a dweeb now, so I guess he's just scared of any old tiny girl these days.
Yeah. And Angel wants concrete intel on Lindsay, but Gunn says the white room's empty. Okay. And they have no liaison because of Eve, because again, vanished. So, Gunn's having an issue. Remember the word protocol.
Gunn stumbles over his words, and it's like, Matrix is glitching. And so I get hope rising up in my soul that I might see my beautiful boy
glitch. There is no mention of Cordy and no social lives for these people.
Yeah, they mention, it's Friday at midnight and we're done. We're early, but all of them still have individual shit to do, including Fred, who's fixing a fuck up from Knox.
Great. I love Wes saying, yes, he is unreliable. Good point. But I also wrote, shut up, cuck. If you're not going to do anything about it, shut up. But also, Fred says she has to redo the entire Trask experiment, to which I say, like Oliver Trask? Then I realized this episode's going against the episode of OC where Oliver holds Marissa hostage. Perfect synergy.
Oh my God. Yes. Oh my God. I wish Oliver was in this up. I wish Angel and Spike had to fight Oliver. Like, I mean, they'd lose, but I would love to see it. So I note in my notes that Lauren's suit is like so silvery and patterned and shiny. I could not stop staring at it. Angel does ask in a very kind of adorable way if everyone wants to hang out in a couple more hours and talk about work more. And I'm like, are you admitting that you like being around people? Who's this?
Only these people.
Made me happy.
Maybe he feels this way because he was just with Cordelia, but wouldn't know. So as they're leaving, Fred says, what did we do before we had these jobs? And Wes says, I seem to recall lots and lots of Jenga. So that's what they put in their brains?
I wrote in my notes in all caps, let me see them play Jenga, you cowards. Let me see the Jenga.
I suppose it's pretty poetic considering the way they had to mess around with their minds. It was kind of like Jenga.
Yeah. Someone was, doing a little
There's a bunch of empty spaces in their brains.
And all of it's going to topple down any second.
Mm-hmm.
So then later, a gentleman arrives at Wolfram and Hart, and it's Sam from the boat from 1943. But how?
Well, he's evil because he's smiling while he's in Wolfram and Hart.
Yeah. Cut to titles. Back from titles. We are in Fred's lab. Fred sees Sam Lawson from the past looking at her files.
And this is where I'm like, really, it begins. This man is a Parker Abrams wannabe. It's the eyebrows, but he also looks like Christopher Gorham from Ugly Betty and Popular. So he's like a mix of the two of them. So it's distracting.
Fully see that, and he is like pretty to look at because those two people are pretty to look at, but
I don't find him menacing.
I don't find him. Yeah, there's really no menace there. I think like they kind of tried to get someone who could play two things and kind of couldn't play either that well. Like
I do I do have a suggestion for this for him that we'll talk about later in the episode. Okay. But I also did at one point think like he's just doing Michael Weston from 6 Feet Under, but also this actually happened. Like this aired before that. That wouldn't be till July 2004. So I'm like, he's already doing a poor man's Michael Weston, and Michael Weston hasn't even done it yet.
It's all fallen a little flat. Like I was unclear about how he was supposed to come across at first because it was falling a little flat. And I'm like, technically the things he's saying are creepy, but I'm not scared.
The music's telling you it's creepy.
Yeah. So Fred is freaked out because there's a man suddenly in her lab alone with her late at night. But he's like, I'm just here to talk. Do you like working here? Do you enjoy what you do? And Fred kind of tries to like stealthily run away. And Sam's like, if you run, I'll have to stop you. Menace.
Yeah, he was a friend of an old acquaintance of Angel back in his Patriot phase. Time for our first flashback. Ooh. I feel like Jill Dayfield watching these flashbacks.
Don't you just? I usually love a flashback. I love seeing everyone in their little outfits. But this, they're like three.
I feel like this is right now is the worst time to do a flashback on the show because it has no, like, other than, needing a purpose and a reason, which is a big part of Angel in general. Like, There's no actual bearing to the full picture, unlike in Destiny with those flashbacks. And also, besides like his final scene, you don't want to do a flashback that's so modern because we can see Borat is an actor who looks good but has very much aged. At least with the wig, is something to distract us.
Yeah, it's just not working. Angel, we see Angel. He's sad and he's in his 1940s apartment. He's listening to the radio and he's surrounded by newspapers.
This punk just brooding alone in his apartment. That's what I wrote.
Like, Jesus. And then guys with stakes and crossbows barge in. And Angel seems unfazed. I wondered if this scene used to be longer or used to be preceded by another scene. The information that's given just is very fast. A dude tells them they need able-bodied men because they're losing so many to, the U-boats. And he's in a bunch of military garb, so we know he's talking about World War II. He says, we haven't been able to figure out how these U-boats worked. Yesterday, my men captured a prototype T-class submarine. And then the day after, we received fragments of a distress call telling us something was on the ship. You could hear dying men screaming for their lives. He explains that the sub is stuck in hostile territory, too deep to be reached by divers. But who wouldn't have a problem swimming very deep down and, not getting crushed? A vampire.
Are we sure?
I'm not sure, but I also just right away, they are asking you to believe that the U.S. government knows about vampires and Angel knows they know and doesn't care if they come into his house and start punching him in the face. And I'm not quite on board.
Well, he doesn't care about anything. And I guess, the initiative had to start somewhere, possibly off the show, and not be mentioned on the show at all, let alone twice in this season.
Look, I'd love that. But, these guys call him Angelus. He corrects him. They know he has a soul now. That's how much intel these people have. They're from the Demon Research Initiative. Angel doesn't want to help, but they punch him and stuff. So what's he going to do?
They do the old cliche meathead going for the gut punch. Mm-hmm. What are you, a Bradley Cooper in Wedding Crashers?
I wish someone in this movie was attacking their role with the verve with which Bradley Cooper attacked his role in Wedding Crashers. Say what you want about that movie, but that man is showing up to work.
Sorry, this man, he was busy with Jack and Bobby at the time, okay?
He was absolutely killing. So they say, Angel, they show him the cargo manifest and what is on the ship. and they say they think, we think we know what attacked our boys. And they give him Angel sees this before he doesn't care, but whatever he sees on this list, it makes it his expression harden. And now he knows what he has to do. Can I say something embarrassing?
Always.
Upon watching this the first time, did not get that he knew Spike would be on the boat. Did not get it at all, and was like, what's on the, like, I was like, I was like, well, he needs to get the boat. I'm sure there's something
it was
on the
Hitler's
boat.
best kept secret.
That's why you gotta watch it twice, I guess.
Was that when you were very high?
I did. It is not. I unfortunately have watched this episode 2 times stone cold sober because I care about the Scoobies. We then cut to the submarine barracks.
We're still in flashback. That's 75% is being charitable. 75% of this episode is flashback.
Yeah, I'd say like 90.
Yeah.
We
again really like the rest of the cast was directing the rest of the series.
Yeah, obviously there's no reason they could be in the 40s. But I just and there's no room in what they're trying to do. We already said this episode is overstuffed.
They could have streamlined this episode.
I really feel that they could have. Open on the submarine.
Well,
Open
actually,
on Angel coming out of the thing in the submarine.
Yeah.
That could be the beginning of the plot line.
Yeah, now it's just like, Tonight and Goddard had to stretch to fill the plot of this.
Yeah.
But also, in terms of streamlining, I was thinking about how you do to me, whether they make their new versions of the U2 albums where they streamline them and take out the filler that they think don't need to be in there or rearrange. I'm like, take this episode out.
Yeah.
That'd be my first order of business.
For season 5, fair enough.
Take out Unleashed, remove all mentions of Nina.
Fair. Nina? What about Nina's niece, though? Would you keep Nina's niece?
Just a child in the back of a Wolfram Heart going, Nina,
I'm on the submarine. I'm going
know.
up the stairs.
I don't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Wow, you went really high to be the blonde niece. You went so high I couldn't hear that shit.
Look,
the microphone definitely picked it up and recorded, but I didn't hear it.
I have a beautiful soprano. Anyways, we've got Sam. He's with his guys. There's a soft one, and other ones have other characteristics.
There's the one who's the older brother from Even Stevens, the one who's not Shia or Christy. He's a fucking coward. Mm-hmm. There's fucking Mikey Day.
That's Mikey Day.
Mikey Day in all his twink glory is one of them. Yeah.
Congrats.
I didn't notice him in this scene, but I noticed him in the later scene. I'm like, that's fucking Mikey Day.
It's hilarious. And there's also a Nazi who they've got on there. They say they can't control the ship from here in the barracks, where they have huddled up to avoid whatever is on the boat killing them. They have 2 days of air left, assuming whatever attacked them can't get through the doors. The Nazi isn't speaking up about what's going on. They're trying to get him to. He won't. Mm-hmm. They hear one of their buddies screaming, and there's a big gun standoff.
I feel like it's just not suspenseful or thrilling. It's just a low budget for what this is, submarine drama, which is, again, I read my notes, which is a thing for dads. Not for the demographic you were directing this toward on the WB.
Yeah. I did mean to ask you, LaToya, do you have any submarine fiction that you like? Any submarine stuff? Fiction?
Besides Subway, no.
I like the pilot for Last Resort. It's a pretty dad-like genre, but Angel's a dad. He's an old man, so technically
he's not dead right now.
True. Goodbye, Connor. So
you miss him, don't you? You're missing him now. You're missing him in his milk.
Miss him in his milk and his bob. So they hear one of their buddies screaming, and suddenly, someone wants to go help. Sam has to pull his gun on him, being like, if you leave the room, we'll all die. Things are supposed to be tense, but I unfortunately do not feel it. Then there's sounds, movement on the hull. They go into the torpedo room, following the noise, and there's something in the tubes. But what? And then they hear a tapping. And it's SOS in Morse code.
It's absurd is what it is.
They open a hatch, and then a bunch of water trickles out, and inside is Angel. This shot of Angel just peeping out of this little tube, blinking at everyone, is objectively hilarious. Like, if the goal of this was to make me laugh very hard and think he looked very silly, then everyone did their job phenomenally.
Considering none of the other jokes landed for you, I don't think that was the intent here.
This had me rolling. The silence of him just blinking at these men. I wish, they cut it too soon. I was like, give it longer. You'll get a laugh. That's a button. But no one listens to me. So then we cut back to Wolfram and Hart. Present day. Wes enters his office to find Fred strapped to a chair. Sam pops out and knocks Wes out. And that's half of what Wes does in the episode.
Back to the flashback. Mm-hmm. Jesus Christ.
Everyone's got their guns on Angel. How did you get down here? Angel says he needs to speak to the captain. You can't. He's dead. So he wants to speak to who's in charge. That's Sam. Angel gives some coded orders in an authorization code in a pretty authoritative tone of voice.
Coded in an actual code, not in a racist way.
Yeah, Alpha Bravo Charlie, and then they're access code, and he's Nautilus.
Why
am I watching SEAL Team over here?
Why is the only era appropriate thing this episode wanted to do the slurs? Do you know why?
I don't know.
I felt very uncomfortable. Why. I felt bad for German people all around.
It didn't feel great.
Most
of the episode didn't feel great. He asks for them to get rid of the metal they strapped to his ankles to get him to sink. Because he can't. He doesn't sink otherwise? Do vampires float?
No, I think the pressure of trying to swim down would just it'd be impossible.
Fair enough.
Even as a vampire. Then he probably would blow up.
That is fair. He can't just as we know, you cannot zoop underwater.
Just
it all tracks.
Over it.
Then on the submarine in another room,
still in the flashback.
We go back into the flashback. Hodge, the dumb one, is saying that Angel's a super soldier like Steve Rogers or Captain America. To which someone responds, Steve Rogers is Captain America, you 8-ball.
To which I reply, shut up, Joss, you fucking nerd.
8-ball.
Anyway, now Nazi Spike is here.
Yes. We have Nazi Spike because Angel kind of, leaves and goes to be heroic and tells everyone else to stay behind. And he rounds the corner and there is Spike. Spike is in a full SS uniform and his hair is black because it's the past.
His hair is black because they made a bad choice. This is such a bad look on multiple fronts. Obviously, the SS symbol. But it's it's not even a dye job because, as I noted to Morgan prior to filming, recording, in the final scene, you can see that James Marsters clearly got a fresh coat of peroxide. His hair has been newly dyed. So what this is either shoe polish or they sprayed something on his head. That's what this is. It's not a wig.
It looks quite bad. And
the bits where you can see kind of, oh God, sorry. I thought you were gonna puke.
I'm not there yet.
It really was oh whoa shit, she's gonna barf all over them.
No, I got it.
She's going full exorcist. He's you can see a little bit on
blonde peeking out.
Yeah, it looks awful. Also, that hair color does not favor Marsters because this man was 41, 42 here, and every bit of that is showing with this hair situation.
Yeah, it was not a good look. So Spike clarifies when asked that he's not a Nazi. He just ate one. Spike got nabbed in Madrid at a free virgin blood party that turned out to be a sting. Can you imagine? Spike was captured and woke up in a box on the ship with some other vampires. He takes us to those vampires. Their names are Nostroyev and the Prince of Lies.
Yes, so the Nostradamus riff and the Nosferatu riff.
Yeah. So
the latter, of course, Prince of Lies, played by Camden Toy, who was one of the gentlemen. He was Gnarl. He was one of the Turakan. You know, all the heavy hitters.
I do enjoy the Prince of Lies a little more than I enjoy Nostroyev.
Yeah.
Because I think a little bit more of that bit is working, largely because it's like physical comedy. And
I find this to be like another bad Shroud Ramon riff, really, but luckily it's all quick.
Yes, it is. Nostroyev is the scourge of Siberia. He's very full of himself, and he was Rasputin's lover. The Prince of Lies is a little Nosferatu guy. He's got a real hairy head and ears and really long nails, and he's
so of course Morgan loves it.
So I was, not having a bad time. Spike assumes that Angel is another captive, just like them. And Angel's
because he doesn't know about the soul. He just knows that Angel's a dick. He's a grumpy dick who ditched them.
Yeah, he just knows he doesn't like him and that they have beef. So Angel is like, hey, anyone still alive on your side of the ship? Nope. They ask him, and he's like, yeah, there are some humans. And Spike's like, cool, let's eat them. And Angel has to explain to Spike, no, we need people who can pilot the submarine so we don't die at the bottom of the ocean. A good point. We get some comedy of Spike being like, how hard is it to drive the submarine? And this was probably my Spike joke that worked the best for me in this episode, where he's then just turning knobs and pulling levers and stuff, and then makes some kind of alarm go off. They were pretty solid. So Nostroyev wants to kill. He threatens Angel, and Angel kills him. He orders Spike and the Prince of Lies to not kill any humans until they reach land. And Spike says, Heil Hitler. We go to Angel's apartment. We're
back in the present. Thank God.
Yes, I breathe a sigh of relief. Sam Lawson has shown up.
The scene happens. Which I'm confused in the scene why Angel doesn't have more urgency, because he knows this guy is most likely and definitely a dangerous vampire, and all of his friends are still in the building.
Yeah. Once again, Angel's very blasé in this. I guess whenever he thinks of the 40s, he's blasé.
Well, to jump ahead real quick, I'm also confused by, so Lawson shows him the setup of his friends. He's like, you don't want to have a fight because something could bump into it. And then eventually Angel does fight and just beats the shit out of him. And the concern that apparently was supposed to be there doesn't actually exist.
Yes, and he nearly throws him into the gang. And then also this scene, the next scene with the two of them ends with him being like, you have no idea what I have up my sleeve. You can't kill me right here. And Angel it would have been easier if he had killed them right there.
It would make it, because he could have killed him in the scene, initially where he has a stake to him, but he doesn't. It's just if he had a bomb set up, okay, I get it now. Don't kill him.
Yeah.
Let's at least figure it out first. But no, this isn't a bomb.
Yeah.
Kill him immediately. You don't have to retrace history.
Yeah, you don't have to talk to this dude.
Again, the reason why he wouldn't attack him ends up not even being a reason to not attack him. He still does. He doesn't care about their well-being.
It's very odd. So there is one of my favorite present day bits in the episode where Sam's like, you don't want to know how I got in here? And Angel's like, no, it's very easy to get in here. This might as well be a bus station.
I'm surprised that security wasn't mentioned in the episode description this week.
Yeah. So Sam says he checks in with Angel every few decades. He knew about the rats in the gutter era, and he was very surprised to find him fighting evil and working at Wolfram and Hart.
He missed the whole dating a vampire slayer era then. He went from Rats to this.
Yeah.
To LA.
That would be a pretty big shift. I would encourage Sam, check out some of the earlier seasons of Angel. They're pretty good, dude.
As a podcast network, our focus is bringing you shows you love to listen to. But we also sell merch related to those shows. And partnering with Shopify has made that both possible and simple for us to do. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor adventures, Shopify helps you sell everywhere because they've got you covered from their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS system. What's so fantastic about Shopify is how, no matter how big you want to grow, they provide everything you need to get control of your business so you can take it to the next level. Businesses that grow, grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm. That's all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/realm.
Don't you love it when you find a new podcast you really like? Well, let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm Mike Carruthers, the host, and in every episode, you'll hear fascinating information that will make your life better from top experts. Recently, we've done episodes on why you have the personality you do, the science of luck, and the psychology of a restaurant menu. You're going to like Something You Should Know. We have literally thousands of 5-star reviews. Look for Something You Should Know wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, I'm Simon Jack.
And I'm Zing Sing.
And together we host Good Bad Billionaire, the podcast exploring the minds, the motives, and the money of some of the world's richest individuals.
Every episode, we pick a billionaire and we find out how they made their money.
And then we judge them. Are they good, bad, or just another billionaire?
Good Bad Billionaire from the BBC World Service.
Listen now wherever you get your BBC podcasts.
Then back on the submarine, Angel leads the crew into the control room. There's dead bodies everywhere, so all the guys are, very shaky and looking around at their friends.
I just want to go back to Angel's room penthouse where Lawson's like, he says fighting evil and running Wolfram out, he doesn't get how they coexist. I'm like, I kind of agree with you there. But then he goes on about how he used to live in simpler times. And I'm like, just go watch Fox News and get out of here.
Yeah. Never a good sign. So back on the submarine, Angel is walking everyone into the control room. The guys are all seeing their dead friends and being spooked.
And this is the scene where I learned that the character O'Shea is Mikey fucking Day. And since he's obviously been in the episode, but this is the first time I'm noticing him, now we can do fuck watch.
Woo!
Flirting, understanding, consent, and kissing. Flirting, understanding, consent, and kissing. Fuck watch.
Who you fucking, Morgan?
I'm gonna ask Nostroyev to fuck me like I'm Rasputin. Just to know.
Wow.
Give me that stuff Rasputin liked. These are some of the things I'm gonna say during it, What about you, LaToya?
I am speechless.
Yeah, I think I really got you with that one.
My thing is, Lawson's obnoxious, but, he is hot. So, if he just never spoke, maybe. But also, Mikey Day is here, and I don't necessarily know if I want to fuck Mikey Day, but I am amused by the fact that Mikey Day is here. So, it's either a silent Lawson or maybe Mikey Day. It's just a lot of question marks here.
Look, I'm not going to say that mine is absent of question marks.
No, yours is not, apparently.
I
You
think
freak
we've
bitch.
both chosen well.
I don't even know if I've chosen.
But the thing is, I will not force you to choose. This is that kind of episode.
God.
Congrats to
Isn't
us.
Drew
And
Goddard hot? Can I fuck him? I forget. Isn't he cute at least?
A little. Yeah, I think he is like a little cute.
Let's look at this. Let's objectify a writer, shall we?
Yeah.
For once. Oh yeah, he's cute.
Yeah, he's a little cutie.
Ooh. With longer hair? Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
I know. Longer hair. Steve,
Okay, so my answer is actually Drew Goddard.
Fair enough. I'll allow
Pillow
it.
Talk, me asking what happened with these episodes with tonight.
I will stick with the...
Yeah, I know you are, you little freak. Okay, we're done with the segment.
Thank you so much. And that's Fuck Watch. So back to the episode. Angel is like, hey, this is Spike and the Prince of Lies. You can put them to work if you want. And Sam orders the guys around. We get the submarine doing what the submarine's supposed to be doing. And Spike makes a stink about wanting to sit where the captain sits. And he does. Hodge has a moment with the Prince of Lies, who's just looking quite spooky. And Sam looks at all the dead dudes some more, and he looks fairly traumatized. So Angel, seeing that and feeling guilty, is like, let's get the bodies out of here. They go to the barracks to put the bodies in the beds and cover them up. And Angel and Sam talk. Sam wants to know why they're not killing Spike and the Prince of Lies. They're murderers who killed all of his friends. Pretty good question.
Well, yeah, Angel says Spike's not in the SS. He just likes wearing the jacket. Which I wrote, didn't tell that to the promo department.
Yeah.
But yeah, I find like the whole, like, even though I get it, Spike loves to steal a jacket, especially if someone like he killed. But like, remember, this is a writer's room full of white people. I don't think I like the joke about him just walking around with a fucking SS uniform from like all these white people. Like the one person of color was Joss's assistant around this. Like, I don't care for it.
It's not great at all. The only thing I have to even moderately defend it, and it's really not even how I feel, is I do think we thought like Nazis were a thing of the past at this time, or but also there were like groups of neo-Nazis.
Because I don't
like that's the
think
thing.
anything's like criticizing it though. I just think like the writers thought it'd be a funny visual is what that's what I get from this, honestly.
Yeah, and it isn't.
And of course,
to
a bunch
me.
of white guys would think that's a funny visual.
Yeah, less skin in the game. But I don't know. It just sucks. But
yeah,
that's the one joke he gets the whole episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then Lawson's going on, and I'm like, you can't be noble about seeing what the Germans were doing and wanting to list, and then call them, I'll say it just the one time. I'm like, because they're just throwing that around all fucking episode. Everyone's saying it.
Yes, there are a lot of, shitty, like, German, like, is that a slur, or is it
Yes.
just, yeah.
Yes, I looked it up. It's
great. Great. So he gives this monologue about, feeling very upset about seeing what the Germans were doing. And he says, evil's spreading, sir. And it's not just over there. It was on my ship.
Yeah, over
and it
here,
killed-
black people have no rights. Like, it's 1943. You don't care about, like, the injustices happening on your own soil.
Yeah, I wrote, like, Japanese internment is happening now. Like,
yeah.
What are you talking about? He says, it was on my ship. It killed my men. We have to stop it. And he says he can handle dying if it's for a greater purpose. Write that in your Shanshu prophecy. I guess
like,
that wasn't true. Was it, Sam Lawson?
But yeah, and this I'm just like, Lawson's a shitty soldier with all the questioning he's doing. Like, I mean, none of his fellow soldiers are any better. They sent like a bunch of flops on this mission. I have to be honest.
Yeah, it's not. It's just I
not that I think a soldier who like follows every order is like something I would want, but like this guy seems like he didn't care about the military, as he said. Like it's kind of muddled. Is like, is he a good soldier or not? He's obsessed with soldier speak as a vampire. It's like, come on, grow up.
Well, it just kind of seems like he's everything and nothing. Like he is he's such an everyman that there's just absolutely nothing to grab onto. Like he's
what if Steve Rogers sucked? That's this.
Yeah, he's had every perspective, so he can fill in for anyone, which I just don't find particularly compelling. But Angel says, we're fighting on the same side. You need to trust. I need you to trust that I'm going to get you through this safe and sound.
Is it not that the episode is just Angel damned Captain America, basically?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
fucking
it's like,
nerds. Shouldn't be allowed to do anything.
Yeah, it's very dweeby. But I also just think, like, okay, you don't have a lot of time. So if he's supposed to be Captain America, he should be like the most schoolboy, sweet, following every order to the letter, shining the shoes kind of a guy. So we can really see him lose that completely.
Yeah, it's just he's wishy-washy and like he doesn't have a purpose as a human. Like he doesn't. We'll talk about it more when we get there, but like I don't even think it's Angel's fault the way that he is. I think it's just an amplification of the type of person he was. I think he's empty because he was empty before as a human.
Yeah.
He had hollow platitudes he thought were true, and they weren't.
Yeah, and I have more to say about the turning and stuff like that, and what kind of vampire he is, and et cetera, like when we get there. But I don't disagree at all. We go back to Angel's apartment in the modern day. Sam is again echoing what Angel said to him. Safe and sound. Guess now's not the time to argue semantics.
I was thinking like, Angel could get up. I'm like, actually, Boreanaz is still post-surgery at this point. Probably is the reason why he's just sitting and chilling here.
Let the man sit. He asked Angel, like, do you ever care about the mission and the men and the ship, or is it just about saving your own ass? I just want to understand. And Angel takes his moment and tries to stake him. He's like, I told you I'd fucking kill you if I ever saw you again.
He shouldn't, but whatever.
Yeah. And Sam says, you don't think I'd come here without insurance, did you? His insurance is that everybody's tied up in another room. You could
His insurance is that they all have perfect balance, that they're not like stumbling. I would not have the balance in those chairs. These are like desk chairs.
We gotta say, their core strength, remarkable. Core strength, balance. That's what we're doing. Like, in a way, Sam just gave them like a really great workout, like a really great low impact workout.
They're feeling the burn.
Yeah. But I don't know if it was worth it. So,
CrossFit who?
CrossFit whomst. Then in the Wolfram and Hart lobby, Wes, Fred, and Gunn are all standing on the office chairs.
This is in Angel's office, actually, not even the lobby. This is Angel's office.
Really? Oh, they're in Angel's
they just go downstairs from his penthouse. Yeah.
In Angel's office, Wes,
because it's right in front of his conference table.
Oh yeah, you're right. I did not understand this. I thought that it was a bigger area because they had the fight there. But everyone's standing on the office chairs. They are gagged. They have wire wrapped around their necks. If anyone kind of even brushes up against them, according to Sam, the wire wrapped around their throats could just pop their head right off. So
yeah,
Angel,
he's like double wire wrapped around their necks. I'm like, and that's why Lauren can't be here, because it literally would not do anything to him. He'd still be talking. He'd be singing. And then I wrote, I don't know what double wire is, nor do I know why Angel couldn't have dusted him upstairs and then fixed this. It's not like it's a bomb.
Yes.
And then I wrote, he's wearing a mock turtleneck. I can't be intimidated by him. And then we go to a flashback, and you know who's actually wearing a mock turtleneck? Angel.
He is. Oh, the 40s were not a good time for Angel's fashion. Sam is checking in with like the guys on how the sub's working. There's no comms, but stuff's starting to move, I guess. We get a Spike and Angel moment. Spike wants a turn at the wheel. He's being a little bitch. He wants to be captain. Angel's like, go check the torpedoes, bitch. Sam and Angel get a little moment together. Angel tells Sam, like, don't worry about Spike. I'm handling it. But Sam's freaked out. He wants to get the boat where it needs to go. He wants to take care of his guys. He again says, like,
do that.
Yeah.
Why are they just doing that?
I don't know. He says, like, all of us knew this could be our last mission. And we're all shaken up, but we will follow orders.
Will you? You ask a lot of questions.
Yeah. The Prince of Lies starts screaming. So then we run into another room. The Prince of Lies is screaming at the Nazi, and he's trying to fuck his shit up.
Prince of Lies, I'm on your side.
Prince of Lies, right side of history. Who says he's so evil after all?
I didn't hear a damn lie from him.
Yeah. Angel gets his shit rocked, like, minorly by the Prince of Lies, which I did enjoy. Sam shoots the Prince of Lies a bunch, and it doesn't hurt him at all.
And you would think he would learn when he later points the gun at Spike, but he doesn't.
He doesn't. Angel has to kill the Prince of Lies, which is a bummer to see him
Kill
go.
the Nazi.
Yeah, the Nazi he does punch, at least, which is nice to see him do. The men saw Angel kill the Prince of Lies and saw him get dusted and, like, explode, and they're freaking out. Spike then grabs this paper that the Prince of Darkness was clutching and yelling about, and he says he was probably mad about this, but Spike can't read it because it's in German.
And I'm like, I appreciate that Spike, has learned a lot of demon languages, but maybe learn some human languages. This seems to keep being an issue for him.
Yeah, it'd be helpful. Like, I mean, if I was like a globe-trotting scourge, I would, but no Duolingo back then. So Spike vamps out, tries to scare the Nazi, but I write in my notes, like, that's not going to make him speak English. But Sam, luckily...
It's like how he tried to punch the demon out of a girl he thought was was possessed. Yeah, this is how you exercise someone, right? No,
babe.
This is how you get him to speak English, right? No.
Luckily, Sam can understand enough German to get by. The paper is research on vampires. He can't understand everything, but there's something about stimulation and control. It seems like they've been experimenting on vampires by cutting into their brains, and that the goal is to make a vampire army. The Nazi starts doing, like, a spooky laugh.
Because he's a Nazi.
And someone's talking about an evil plan, and Nazis love that. Angel gets so pissed he starts speaking German back to the Nazi. So this is the moment where you're like, he knows more than he's letting on.
I just zoned out. I missed that completely.
LaToya, it is very easy to miss something that's going on in this episode because it is a struggle to remain engaged with it.
You watched it twice, so that's how this happened.
It was very hard. So Spike is like, oh, Angel, I get it. You're playing both sides against each other. That's so
imbecile.
Cool.
He thinks Spike's the type of person to be like, you're playing 4-dimensional chess. Like, sure you are.
Okay.
Thanks, Spike.
Oh, God, Spike. Spike
this is when you can enjoy Spike.
Experimented on.
When Spike thinks someone playing 4-dimensional chess, that's good.
Yeah. Oh, Spike. He's like, yeah, I just don't want to get experimented on. Sam goes on to say a bunch of very naive stuff about how he doesn't believe the U.S. government would do that.
First, he sees that Spike's a vampire. He points his gun at him like, you just saw it doesn't work. We have our joke about how Angel refuses to be trapped at the bottom of the sea, and Spike refuses to be experimented on by the government. It's funny because these things happened.
It's happened to both of them.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Lawson's very naive, if that's one way to put it. He doesn't think the U.S. would be down for this. My United States?
Ooh. He says, you win a war by doing what's right. Again, this is where I was like, Japanese internment is happening now.
Yeah, he says, you don't win a war by doing whatever it takes. You do it by you win by doing what's right. I'm like, are you 5?
Yeah, you're in a war. That's not good. You should know this.
You should, especially how this mission's going. You should know this by now.
Yeah. So Angel, especially if he's meant to be this naive, why not make that kind of like seem to gel with his character? Angel,
because he was like anti-military. He thought they were all like a bunch of idiots. It's not like this is something he always wanted. It's just suddenly he noticed bad things were happening in a different country, and that's when he wanted to join the military. But it's not like it was always his like mission in life, and he's just now becoming disillusioned. Like, he just became illusioned.
How long can you be illusioned before you can become disillusioned?
Well, he's turning it on and off like a light switch.
Oh, buddy. So Angel and Spike burn the Nazi research. Spike sings God Save the King as he does this.
And he sets himself on fire, which is always funny.
Very funny. Something on the ship blows up. It's a depth charge. They run to the control room. There are 3 or 4 destroyers on their tail, and they can't take one like this.
They're just saying a bunch of submarine stuff, and I'm like, I don't know what any of this means. The sonar pinging is comforting. This was in the trailer. The pinging of the sonar, you know, the things teenage girls love to hear in their trailers for WB shows. Remember the Dawson's Creek episode where they just played the sonar pinging?
Yeah, I'm the girl who watched this at home the night it aired and said, submarine? I hope there's sonar. Like, rubbed my hands together. So the sonar is ping-a-pinging. Everyone's peeping around. Sam's yelling. There's explosions. It's not looking good.
Everyone is slurring about the Germans.
Everyone is saying some not so nice words about the Germans. And Angel orders Sam to fix what is wrong with the ship. And Sam is like,
it's filling with water now, and that's definitely what's wrong with it.
You definitely don't want that. So, Angel and Spike are going to go contain the compartments of water to try to wall things off. Sam is going to go try to fix the ship. In the engine room, Sam's working on stuff. In the other room, Angel squeezes a pipe to keep it from leaking. He says he never liked the ocean. I agree. I'm terrified of the ocean. LaToya, do you have any feelings about the ocean?
I mean, I miss the beach. I live on the opposite side. I don't want to go to the west side. I don't want to go all the way over there.
It's miserable.
But I do kind of like the beach. I want to take Chewie and Dahlia to the beach because Dahlia's never been to a beach at all. Like, Chewie's been to Clearwater Beach, but yeah.
Oh, you should. I want to see them in the sand. See, that's nice. I like the beach. I don't like being in the ocean.
Would you ever do? Would you ever do a cruise and then go scuba diving?
I literally have a story about this that is harrowing and awful about a time that I was on a boat and was taken snorkeling, and it was a nivemare.
Is your story just 47 meters down?
Yeah, I got scuba madness with my sister.
See, that's why I wouldn't do it, because 47 meters down. The movie traumatized you when you watched it alone like an idiot.
Hey, I watched, for the record, I watched 47 Meters Down 2 with Michael to see Claire Holt. The shark movie that I watched that traumatized me was Deep Blue Sea when I saw it on TV when I was 9 years old. It ruined my life. I was just old enough to understand that genetically engineered smart sharks would be dangerous, but young enough to be stupid enough to believe that it could be possible. It was very scary. But luckily, there are no genetically engineered super sharks coming to attack this submarine, because I don't think it could take it.
Well, that's what the initiative we're working on.
Yeah. Spike goes, hey, where's the Nazi? Over in the engine room, the Nazi kills Sam by stabbing him in the guts with a screwdriver, which is admittedly not a fun way to die. Very painful and awful. Sam, as I wrote in my notes, Sam smacks the glasses off that bitch, but it's too late. He's gonna die. Then in present day, in the Wolfram and Hart lobby, Sam talks about what it feels like to die like that.
Yeah. Okay. So he's monologuing, and I'm like, where else is this actor in? And he books-ish. He is famously in Charmed, Oh My Goddess, Part 1 and 2. He's one of the elders.
He's an elder? I knew I hated him.
He's a young little elder.
He's an elder. Oh, the elders. Oh, my God. LaToya's just shown me a picture of him in those terrible Party City gold robes that elders are always wearing.
Here, let's see. Hold on.
Oh, with the hood up. Horrifying.
Kind of looking Brandon Routhie, though, in that one.
He does.
That's his problem. He looks like too many people.
He does.
But it is...
gosh.
During his monologue to Angel, here, right? Mm-hmm. I realized something about this character and actor that could have fixed some things, both possibly here, but also in seasons 3 and 4.
Ooh.
He should have played Connor.
Oh. You think this guy's kind of giving Connor a little more, like the vision they were going for?
Yes. I think this makes a lot of sense. And then there's also later, Angel calls him son, and I'm like, ooh. This episode's also better if there's more connection between how he feels like he failed as a father and what he did to Lawson, if that's a part of it.
Right. Yeah. Like
the way Lawson is acting out, it is like there are shades of Connor in there. It's like an angry son who's upset with like he was born like fucked up, like Connor was. There's so much Connor and like what he's saying.
You're right. This is kind of touching on Connor.
It is, but it isn't, you know?
Yeah, it is, but it isn't. But it would be more like thematically deep and rich if it did feel like it was touching on something. Because obviously, like thematically, the search for purpose, the search for reason in a world that is dark, that's all Angel. But
it's the line he says, like right before I think the fight, which is. Or like he's like, you gave me just enough, didn't you? Enough of your soul to keep me trapped between who I was and who I should be. I was like, first of all, okay, Reba, but also like that very much seems like what Connor was feeling.
So yeah, I mean, it would,
and it makes more sense than saying a vampire with a soul does this.
Yeah. So they do talk about, I guess this is as good a time as any, the idea that Sam thinks he might have a soul or part of a soul because Angel had a soul when he turned him. And that is a big question to ask and then drop, I think. I find it to be like a question that kind of like overwhelms the episode.
It's like in Lineage when they introduced the whole cyborg clan of good guys, ? And that's... Yeah, to have these big concepts for an episodic, because like that makes sense in like classic episodic shows, you know, like Case of the Week or whatever, where it's like you get the big things, but it's like you're never gonna go back to it or anything like that. But when you've made a show like this serialized and it's about the story arcs, you do expect it to be like paid off, and it's just not like you're these any interesting concept you're having and you're not going to follow up on it just seems like a lost opportunity.
Well, and this just also seems like a huge, like, change to the mythology and a huge, like a huge addition to the mythology that could have, like, really big impacts on the story that they're going to tell.
It's like a psychotic Slayer to condense it the way they did and not talk about the ramifications and implications at all. It's that.
Yeah, I just found myself, like, really disappointed that this question wasn't, like, explored at all.
Because... the way the show is now,
for this episode.
Even had the show gotten renewed, it wouldn't follow up with these concepts is the thing, because that's not what the show is intending to do. That's not what the network wanted it to do. So it's like, yeah, you do that and move on.
Yeah, I guess I wonder what the point of that is. But we go back to the past. Angel comes in to see Sam, bleeding out. Sam is freaked out. He's the only one who knows how to fix this. Now, I do think this is like a tense and fraught situation that could be worth telling a story about. The person that Angel had to turn into a vampire that he regrets so much. He did it when he had a soul, etc. But
I was going to say, also, sorry to interrupt you, but if he's not Connor, you do the storyline when Connor is around, because then he would see him always struggling with, is my father a monster? What your father did when he was trying to help someone, and he created a monster.
Yeah. It seems like this is all information that largely won't have an impact on anyone. Like, I know Angel and Spike have like a sad conversation at the end of this episode, but it again feels like it's not gonna matter going forward. Because nothing of note was really established. And that's not me saying, like, I know
it's reiterating that you need a purpose and a reason, which is what that's the show. That's what Cordelia was saying. That's like what Angel's been struggling with this season.
But I don't imagine he's going to quit Wolfram and Hart at the top of next episode. So how much can this have mattered?
Like I think I said, I'm happy that moving past this episode, we're like over a hump. Honestly, with like that is the first half of the entire season. I mean, we'll have some interesting discussions. I think moving forward, some things that I know I liked at the time, maybe don't like anymore. Some things that are just
excited to get into it. But so in this moment, Sam is so scared. He doesn't want to let anyone die. He's the only one who can fix this. But how can he survive to do it? And Angel says, I know you can. And he turns him into a vampire. This is a cool moral dilemma. And I wish that I cared more. But it all just feels like, I know how World War II ends. I know that Angel gains purpose. I know that this guy became a vampire who's going to try to kill Angel. And I know Spike has a soul now. Like, all of it feels a little dramatically inert. So we return to the control room. Spike is like, the air is almost gone. Like, all the guys are like sitting on the ground and barely breathing. He wonders if he should eat a guy who seems like he's almost dead. Angel says, no, Sam's going to come through. And suddenly everything whirs to life again. Back in the engine room, Angel goes and sees Sam, tells him good work. Sam does not seem so stoked to be undead. They surface for air, and Sam's like, why are we doing that? Like, we don't need to breathe. Suddenly, he doesn't care about his guys anymore. But
he says they all look small. They look smaller.
Yeah, which again is like interesting. But it's like there's one scene of vampire him. Sam says they all swore to die for their country. Why shouldn't they die like this from me eating them? And Angel says, let's take a walk. In the control room, Sam looks at all his guys. This is where he says they look smaller. Angel's like, get out of the sub and swim for shore. You probably maybe could make it before the sun rises. He does seem to, he being Sam, still love the boat a little bit. Like, he still has this kind of like leftover, which again, like, kind of made me wonder about the like, is the soul there? Is it not? Etc. But he leaves out the little porthole.
Oh yeah. I'm saying she's a good boat. This is where I put, oh brother, the only way this would get worse if this were a Western.
And Spike is amazed by how cold that was. He's like, dang, you're still a dick. And Angel's like, yeah, I am. And then Spike's got to swim home too. Good bit.
And I was going to say, Angel's looking good in this red light.
Mm-hmm. Then back in the present in Wolfram and Hart, Sam wants to know if the government tortured Angel for fucking everything up. And Angel's like, no, I ran away, bitch. Good for you.
He stayed underground to the end of the war. I mean, it makes sense though, because like there's not like he has a daylight ring or anything.
Yeah.
He has to stay in submarines for something. Yeah.
It's his fucking favorite.
Lawson's like any other coward. What? I don't. Yeah. Do you care about the military? I don't know what your thing is.
I don't get it. Yeah.
And I'm just like, this episode is like jingoistic rah-rah propaganda, isn't it? Mm-hmm. It's like he was just a good American boy who wanted to serve his country because of the injustice of the world. Then the injustice destroyed him. Not the military who was responsible for the shit show, but injustice.
Vampires. Yeah, it's just all a little muddled.
The bad guys did this, not the military that he served.
Mm-hmm. So he says, maybe it's not so bad. One person damned to make the world safe for future generations. They got the U.S. government got important shit from that sub. But Sam is excited to hurt Angel. He says maybe it'll help him feel better. He explains that in his early vampire years, he embraced the joy of destruction and death after he turned. But the whole time he felt nothing. He said 60 years of blood drying in my throat like ashes. What do you think? Is it me, Chief? Or does everyone you sire feel this way? And I'm like, again, just feels like you didn't. This is a new idea.
I think it's him, honestly.
Yeah,
so
I think it's you, dude. I think you just are a bummer. Yeah, can we both agree this isn't mythology? This is just one dude sucking.
You are wishy-washy as a human. You're wishy-washy as a dead guy. Sorry.
Rip to Sam Lawson. He would have loved Gilly. Angel is the only person who he ever did this to after he had a soul. And Sam, has this hopeful moment that maybe he has a soul. And Angel says, I don't think it works like that, son. And again, this is an attempt at something bittersweet and emotional, but it's just not hitting for me. They start fighting.
Yeah, I just think he was a dude trying to fill a void with the military and it failed. And now he's a vampire who still has a void.
Yeah. So Sam is convinced that Angel gave him, like you said, enough of his soul to trap him between who he was and who he was supposed to be. He says, I'm nothing.
He's a survivor.
Angel throws him through the windows and into the lobby. And is about
fighting
to stake
without
him.
Any caution for his friend, so he could have staked him immediately.
Yeah, wild. And as he's about to stake him, Sam eggs him on, come on, Chief. Give me a mission. And I'm like, they were together for a day.
That line sucks. All of the using the military terms in normal conversation, just every time I'm like, stop this. Also, he says, I'm nothing because of you. Again, Connor motivation.
Yes. So Angel kills him. I write down that I don't know what he's feeling or what I'm supposed to be feeling. Then we get
what he's feeling is not concerned for his friends, because we don't see him going to Russ to save them, and the only person he interacts with after this is Spike.
Cool. Sounds right for season 5. It's really odd that he doesn't save them.
I suppose he saved them. Yeah, that's why I put my notes. I suppose he saved them.
It would be very funny if in the back of the Angel and Spike conversation you could see them all still standing on the chairs going like,
it's like oh, so Angel snapped.
Angel went off.
Who also finally broke Angel.
Sounds right. So then in this final scene, Spike comes in,
fresh coat of peroxide.
The
so
hair
fresh.
is blinding. Spike sees the broken window and says, really got to do something about security.
Yeah, Fred gave him the cliff notes because they're still friends off screen.
We swear they're friends. Angel is looking out the windows, kind of basking in the sun a little bit, but in a sad way. Spike says...
what was Spike up to, really?
No clue why he was here.
No, really, what was he up to this episode? Because he has to be possibly processing the whole,
Lindsay
Doyle, Doyle bamboozlement.
Yeah, maybe he came here to talk it out. Spike says, Sailor Boy, it took him long enough. And he asks, what do you think he was looking for? And Angel says, a reason. And
I do think this is a beautiful final shot.
Yeah, of the two of them, bathed in the sun, silhouetted from the back. It's really nice.
But yeah.
And
even that review I had been reading, which I didn't agree with everything, was just I love Spike, but he's really unnecessary to the flashbacks. And we've had a bunch of just these Angel and Spike heart-to-hearts when we have, other cast members. Even they're saying that. I'm like, okay, I'm not going wild. This is happening.
No, it feels so bizarre that he wouldn't talk to, that he is not talking to any of the people who care about him, or that none of the people who care about him are seeking him out. Mm. Or that this show seems wholly uninterested in 3 of its big great ensemble members. It just it bums me out. I missed my friends this week. But now this is the app. Angel has had, a weird night. Is there anything that you would recommend he pop on the old WB?
Angel is a vampire. Does he even like TV?
I think he'll like the WB.
They got that hot teen drama to ease the pain and trauma. And here's the episode that he needs to see.
All right. So after this particular episode, I think based on everything I've said, it's clear what I'm going to suggest. Let's say it together. 1, 2, 3. UPN's Jake 2.0.
What now?
You don't know about Jake 2.0, Morgan?
Not familiar with Jake 2.0.
Okay, so no, it's not NBC's Chuck, but the other one that came first and is executive produced by David Greenwalt. Heard of him?
Yes.
So the series revolves around a computer expert, Jake Foley, Christopher Gorham, who works for the U.S. government's NSA and was accidentally infected by nanobots, which give him superhuman powers. He can control technology with his brain, making him the ultimate human upgrade. That's Jake 2.0.
Wow. Real, like, Kyle XY energy in terms of that title. Woof.
But really, it's Chuck before Chuck.
Chuck before Chuck. I would love to watch some Jake 2.0. I think Christopher Gorham is a very beautiful man.
Yeah, so do I. I was distracted by this episode because I'm like, he's not Christopher Gorham.
Wish he was.
For really, like an amalgamation of just attractive men watching Lawson.
Phenomenal.
But yeah, because I was really just thinking, like, any like really military centric, episodes or like WB programs. And there was something called The Army Show, like a sitcom on WB, but like, no.
Fair enough.
And then I've done CW shows, so technically I'm allowed to do UPN as well.
Mm-hmm. I'll allow it.
And to remind everyone, what I didn't have UPN, so I had to watch my WB affiliate played UPN shows actually. So that's how I was able to watch Buffy season 6 and season 7.
Yeah, that's so wild. All right. Well, Angel, I hope that Jake 2.0 cures what ails you.
Yeah. Nanobots. Angel is not going to be able to wrap his head around whatever nanobots are. That's for sure.
He'll hate that. He will be so confounded by it.
Obsessed with the show and tries to explain it to everyone. And it's like, Angel, you don't get the show. I really don't think you get it.
Let me go back. Nanobots are like robots. But
he's like explaining it to Fred, and she's like, I know what nanobots are. You clearly don't.
Yeah. I'm just glad you're talking to me again, Angel.
Oh, that was an accident. Bye.
Bye. God, we're so good at doing our versions of these scenes. It's like you're watching the show.
It's all the scenes that were happening during the flashbacks.
Yeah. Good gravy. Well, this wasn't our fave, but I am hoping that next week, which I know to be a fan favorite, will be fun for the two of us.
And it's official. We will be having a guest on the episode. Yay! Co-showrunner of the series Lucifer, Joe Henderson, will be joining us for Smile Time.
Woo! That'll be so fun.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Well, so come back in 2 weeks for that. If you would like to follow us on socials, we are at Angel on Top Cast on both Twitter and Instagram. You can go to angelontop.com to be led to our Patreon. That's where we do live watches. That's where we release our bonus pod, the Cole Turner cast. It's about Cole Turner, who's the main character of Charmed.
If you're tired of us dissecting every single thing in Angel Season 5, listen to Cole Turner Cast, because head's empty, baby.
Head is empty, and we are in a great mood.
Yeah, we are.
It is the opposite. But if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so at Lorgan Lutich on whatever platform interests you. LaToya, where can the people find you, and should they? Yeah, the internet's rough these days. Well, that has been our app. And until next time, you are now leaving Wolfram and Hart. And no, we don't validate.
Hi, I'm Dana Schwartz, and this is Rise or Die, the official companion podcast for Peacock's original series, Those About to Die. On this podcast, I go behind the scenes with the show's cast and creators to learn how they brought their brutal vision of Rome to life. I talked to acclaimed director and executive producer Roland Emmerich,
When I saw the first race, I was like giddy.
actor Ewan Ryan,
For an actor, that's a dream, although you do get a lot of sand in your sandals.
and so many more.
You helped summon those ghosts back onto that stage.
Every day when I went to set, I was giggling about what I saw.
I think it's going to be a breathtaking thing.
People will freak out.
Rise or Die launches on July 18th. Watch or listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, this is Rob Benedict.
And I am Richard Spate. We were both on a little show you might know called Supernatural.
It had a pretty good run, 15 seasons, 327 episodes.
And though we have seen, of course, every episode many times, we figured, hey, now that we're wrapped, let's watch it all again.
And we can't do that alone. So we're inviting the cast and crew that made the show along for the ride. We've got writers, producers, composers, directors, and we'll of course have some actors on as well, including some certain guys that played some certain pretty iconic brothers.
It was kind of a little bit of a left field choice in the best way possible.
The note from Kripke was, he's great, we love him, but we're looking for like a really intelligent Duchovny type.
With 15 seasons to explore, it's going to be the road trip of several lifetimes. So please join us and subscribe to Supernatural then and now.